All right, changing oil on your AMC 258. Go to your local Napa, ask them what kind of oil. I got a 10W30. Ask them what kind of filter. This one's part number is the 1626. Just chatted with the person at the front at Napa and they were able to pull up the exact part that would work with this car. Here's your filter on the passenger side of the engine. Here's where you're gonna fill it. This is where you're gonna check your oil level. This one back here is for your transmission. The drain tab on the oil pan's underneath. We're going there now. Here we are under the car. This is your oil pan. And then this is where you're gonna drain from. You wanna get yourself one of these. It's pretty bright. Drain containers. Drains right in here. Before I do anything, I always check to make sure that this isn't seized. So I come down here with a 9/16. Just make sure she turns. And she's turning just fine. So I'm gonna go take the filter off up top to help it breathe better. They sell different tools that you can use to take these off. You can generally do it with your fingers or your hand. It's gonna leak too, a little bit. That's why I've got the drip tray right underneath it. Spoke too soon, didn't I? So this thing's, I think, designed for like PVC pipes, and they sell different sized filter wrenches or tools, if you will, to take those off. And I've had this thing forever, and I always just use it. The idea is you just pinch it in, turn it in the direction it's telling you, and you'll be able to get the leverage that it needs to bite on it and loosen it. So I've got it biting, just slowly turning it. Now that it's loose, should be able to do it by hand. Yep. You'll see some will probably come out. You can hear it. There it is. And this thing is plumb full of oil. So be careful. We'll open this too. Help it breathe from the top down. Getting this stuff out of your concrete is pretty darn hard, so I always try and just clean it up afterwards before I move the drip tray. Now they're back under, I'm gonna reposition. It likes to shoot out like a ribbon, so you kind of want to make sure it's in the right direction. Get it started. Once it's almost out, you can pretty much do it by your finger and just try not to be in the way when it comes out. Get it to that last thread and back off. Like this. See? There's a little magnet on the end of this thing. You can check for bits of metal. If there's ever metal on there, that could be a problem. You can see this thing's clean. It took like maybe 45 seconds to get this slow. Just let it keep going until it stops. It's down to a drip. You can keep waiting a few minutes if you want, or this is probably good enough. When tightening this down, you don't need to, tighten it till there's nothing left to give. It just got to be on there semi-firm. Get her lined up. That's about it. Maybe one more. There you go. I wouldn't recommend filming while you do this. Here's my new filter. It's good to prime it with a little bit of oil. Otherwise you're gonna have to top it up again after you put it through the engine. The pumps pumped it all the way through and filled this up. Now your block is empty a little bit with the amount that's in here. And I just grabbed another 10W30 that I had here in the garage. It's also good to take a little bit of oil. You can use your old stuff if you want. Just lube up this ring so it doesn't get dried out and stick on you later. Now, I should probably put my drain back under there, just in case I spill a little bit. You'll feel when the teeth are grabbing right. If it starts to bite, you should back off until you feel it click, and back on again. For tightness, doesn't have to be on there like crazy. Just kind of hand tight until it feels snug. Now that we're drained and our filter's on, grab yourself a nice funnel and just start slowly filling her up. You will hear it filling the engine, kind of making a slurping sound. Once that goes down, it's good to let it warm up, bring it to temp, and then check with your dipstick. If it needs a little bit more, top off with the extra little 1 quart that you got. Good to check oil pressure once you've got her started up and running. 50 is pretty normal. So let her warm up. You can tell the temperature by checking the water gauge on the dash, the water temp gauge. And you want to check if you're in between the add and the fill lines. I'm doing this one-handed, so it's gonna be kind of silly, but you clean it off the first time. You guys have probably seen this before, but might as well show you. You want to do this when the car's off too, otherwise the oil's splashing around in there. I don't know if you can tell, but we are right where the wetness kind of stops. You can kind of see it dripping there, right up to the fill line. But really you can just be in between the add and the full. Just want to be somewhere in between those 2 dots. Closer to the full side, but not past it. That's how you check your oil. That's how you change and check your oil. For your transmission, similar process, but draining it requires pulling the oil cover, and you fill it through this neck with a pump like this one. This piece here goes into your ATF can or one of these big ones, and then this part with the little teeth on the end goes into your filler neck, and then you pump this piece to pump the ATF in through the neck. Now I know that we're good here, so you just pull this again warm so you've got proper viscosity, and then you can see where it's kind of pinkish because ATF is pink. You want it kind of up to that fill line. Can't make it out too well on the camera, but we're pretty close to full. And this is the thing that will leak more on you. So you just want to make sure that you're closer to that full line, but as soon as you go past it, it will start leaking out because it builds up pressure. It'll find a way out, and that's how you get that kind of stain in your driveway. So don't go too full. And the only time you really know when you need to put it in, aside from checking, is the shifting will be kind of clunky, or maybe it'll kind of wait to shift different than what you're used to. So it'll get getting to know the car and feeling it out. Always take her for a spin after you've worked on it. And here we are idling. It's floating right about 30 PSI. When we get on it, it'll go up to 50. It doesn't go much past that unless you're like really on it. Even then, it's not going to go that much past it. Just wanted to point out that it's normal for it to go down to the 25 mark not on it.